All right, now we're gonna do our John Wick Chapter 4 spoiler review. We can talk
Spoilers.
all the crap we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got back. I gave it an 8 out of 10. You gave it a 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
listen, right out the gate, they shot my guy. They shot him right in the chest.
Wait.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
The guy, the actor who just passed away. Yeah.
Oh, what is his name
That's
again? I'm so sorry.
I can look it up.
Is it Riddick or something? I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
that's his last name.
Yeah, I know it now, and I didn't really pay attention. I think I saw his name in the credits. I didn't see anything like saying "in loving
Lance Riddick.
Lance Riddick." Did they have anything? Did it say like "in loving memory"? Did they
I
have
did
it?
not see like a rest
I
in
didn't see.
peace.
Maybe it was too soon, and they couldn't get it in
Yeah.
post.
They should have
in the
maybe
credits
done that, or at least at the very end or something.
Because I can tell you this, like that movie Cocaine Bear. Me and Rachel saw that,
And
and
yeah, I
Ray
know.
Liotta, and they had an in loving
Yeah.
memory of Ray Liotta. The
Yeah, Ray
movie
Liotta
was
died.
terrible to Ray Liotta. It's sad that it was his last movie because it was such garbage. But
Damn.
anyway,
So
they killed him.
They,
yeah,
and it's just
in like the first 2 minutes of the movie.
and he, like I said, he was involved with John Wick 3 at the end. He was killing a whole bunch of guys too, and they were like teamed up, and I was like, yeah, that's badass. Because I liked him, like he was always calm and polite.
Yeah.
And then like the third movie was like, all right, he's also like Winston's bodyguard because he can handle his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
Ian McShane is that actor's name.
yeah, and he went out like they just shot him.
I
And
would have rather they killed Ian McShane. Honestly, I think
Honestly.
Ian McShane is in the movie. His character is
He's
just a little. I don't know. It just rubs
very like
kind of like overacting, kind of a ham in terms of his acting. I don't know.
he seemed like he's the smartest guy in the room. You know what I mean? Like he's always got the
Very-
plan.
Of a real affectation to the way he does the character. It's just
Well, yeah. And
Yeah.
like the fact that he just wants to be the manager of the hotel so bad for the Continental. So that's why it's like the Continental itself is its own character because it's a crazy hotel. It's got, there's rules inside the hotel. There's like all the assassins can go there, and there's, you got like the guns, you got the guy who makes the suits, the armor. It's like the hub, like in a video game.
right.
And then they just blow that up in this movie, and they're just like, oh, haha, bingo, we're just going to destroy the Continentals because John Wick used to stay at one. You know what I mean?
Listen, I don't even try to
So-
understand all the rules. There's constantly these new rules. The table, what is it
Yeah,
called?
the high table.
The
The
high
high
table.
table.
I kind of just like don't even pay attention to that. It's for
Yeah.
me. It's just about like is the action fun? Are the
And they were-
characters charismatic?
They only had one gold coin in this one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's
tracker,
right.
the guy with the dog, he
Right.
got the room with the gold coin.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's the other actor? Let me get his name. He went out kind of early too, and I
Wait, who are we
expected,
talking about?
the father who got stabbed.
The father, guys. Why can't I remember?
Oh, so I wonder if he's.
Oh
in this movie.
yes, he's a very famous
Let me find him.
Japanese actor.
His name is. Oh, I can't.
Can you not pronounce it?
Well, his last name is Sanada. I can't pronounce his
Can I
first
see his
name.
firsee name?
Hiroyuki Shinada. I feel like
See
that's
if I
it.
can do this.
Hiro-
I
Hiroyuki
probably won't go to
Shinada.
do
I'm
it.
pretty close.
Hiroyuki.
Yeah, Hiroyuki
Sanada.
Shinada.
Yeah.
He's very famous,
Yeah.
and I thought he was going to be in the movie a little longer. Like
Really?
they hyped him up, and like they.
Oh, they did?
Once I found out he was the manager of the other Continental, it's like, all right, he's not going to last long because they
Not going to make it.
They just blew up the other Continental, and then you got Donnie Yen coming after him. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So with Donnie Yen being blind, when he had like those little beeping things when someone walked past him,
The doorbell thing.
yes, and that's how he knew where to shoot. That I was like, okay, this is a little realistic, and it looked like he was slicing his sword at some things and missing. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't exactly on into like he bumped into stuff.
Right.
He like reached for like when he was out of ammo, he had to like feel his gun was out of ammo.
Yeah.
And he stuck his
wouldn't that burn your finger?
depending on how hot the gun is, like if you had it shooting all day. But
Okay.
but But yes, in the beginning, he was very realistic, and I was like, okay, I can get behind him if he's like this. It seemed like John Wick was like, I'm not gonna kill this guy because he's blind, and like he had
You
the
think you felt like you went
he.
easy on
I
him?
felt like he went easy on him,
Well, not because he's blind, but they're friends
and
too.
their
They try
friend.
to establish that they had
Yes,
a long
yes,
friendship.
which I bought that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I bought
they
that.
had you could see that there was they were doing
I
well
liked,
with that.
when they talked, it was very respectful to each other. But then, we got to kill each other, maybe. But I
Yeah.
had this sense of like John Wick was like, yeah, he's good, but like in the very beginning when they first get introduced, John Wick is reloading his gun, and he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? He's being very John Wicky, and then he
Mm-hmm.
knows the other guy just has a sword, so it's like that don't bring a knife to a gunfight situation,
Did he not have?
and
Didn't he have a gun
well,
though?
he eventually
He
Donnie
took it from
Donnie
someone.
Yen bumped into like an AR-15 on the ground with someone's dead body, and then he picked that
I
up.
thought he had a pistol too
Yeah, but
before
he
that.
was out. So like
Oh.
when they were both standing up, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just those two guys, it was like Keanu Reeves, John Wick was on the ground like contemplating. I can just be quiet, and he might not know where I'm at, but if he does, I have a gun and he's got a sword. I'll just kill him. But then other people interfered, and he grabbed the. That's when it gave me that sense of like I feel like John Wick would win that on a one-on-one. You know, like it gave me like a
Hmm.
I don't want to kill you. You were out. It's a very
Well,
similar
can you
story.
also chalk it up to like it's his friend and he's like kind of
Yeah,
hesitating,
yeah,
perhaps?
but I had it like it just really felt like when the movie comes out, there's gonna be the people, like I said, who watch it at a slower speed. There is definitely a moment where John Wick's on the ground with a gun and another magazine, and then Donnie Yen's talking to him, and he's like, I'm gonna have to kill you, John," and he's like, "Yeah, okay, I got the gun. You don't have one. You got a sword, and you're blind. Like, let's be real."
Can I just say
But he's covered in glass,
I
so he's like,
know.
if I move, he'll hear me, but like he kind of was like playing dead, being like, because remember he goes, "John, are you alive?" Remember,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and he's
know.
like, if I just stay quiet, maybe he'll go away and think I'm dead. But yeah, there was a moment where that was
Here's the thing. First of all, there's so much action,
the entire movie.
so many things happening that you'd have to watch it. Oh my god, I would not. I would dread having to watch this movie at half speed because it would take
It would
10 hours. I don't even
half
know the
speed. It would
math.
be like 6 hours.
5 hours or something, 6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
So to dissect all the action, and intricacies like that. And honestly, as the guy who gave it a 6 out of 10,
6 out of 10.
it's not worth that analysis
You
to
don't.
me. Like
You're
I
just
don't
like,
care. Even though I like the character Donnie Yen, and I think he's a great actor. I love Keanu Reeves. I love the character of John Wick. It just doesn't warrant me. Like, there's no part of me that says, "Wow, I want to watch that on like half speed and really see
yeah.
who had the upper hand there." Like, it's just I don't care enough. I don't care enough, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
some there's going to be some diehard fans that rewatch it,
I'm
and
sure
like I said, there's many moments. I can at least name three
you picked up on it.
where he's shooting the gun and there's no recoil, it doesn't blow back, and there's no
Mm-hmm.
cartridge coming out.
Really?
Yes, and I'm like, and they just did a little muzzle flash in post, and it's just like that really drove me crazy.
Now, I will say this because obviously, with blanks, you can't shoot someone that close with a blank. You'll kill
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
because the
Well,
blanks fire out like particles and stuff, right?
there'd be
And
some type of impact
yeah, it's
like
an
a gun, yeah.
explosion, and so they can't actually have live fire
But
even with
they
blanks.
did it more realistically in the first one, and of
But
course the second one.
you know,
And see,
yeah,
there was some physical, like, don't get me
uh-huh.
wrong, there was a lot of swords and axes, but it's just like there were moments where it's like, why would these people who are like this crazy rich high
See,
society,
you're using logic. You got to
why would they? I
suspend
know you
all
do.
logic and
Like,
reality when a movie like this. I mean, come on.
there was a kill that really got me. It was when they had like the arrows, and like the arrows were going through the body armor. That was cool. they shot a guy in the knee, and he was like hung up, and then John Wick
Oh, I remember
shot him
that.
in the
That
head,
stood out. That was
and
like, oh, that was creative.
then he like fell with
He
his
flipped him
body weight,
over.
but
Yeah,
like he was like
right.
still pinned to the wall, so like he was
Yeah.
just like a little like
It's little moments like that
that
make
was
the
good.
movie. Yeah,
That was
it's
good.
those
And
special
when the
moments.
dog pissed on the dude's head, it was
I thought that was
cheesy.
classless. I just, come on, let's
Oh,
have a
you
little
were
more
like,
class.
okay, the dog.
Not the dog. I mean, in the movie, it's just like, okay, we get it. The dog's
Yeah,
pissing on a guy. Ha ha ha.
that
Great.
was I liked
The
it.
the
It was
audience seemed to
funny.
like it, so
Yeah.
I'm in the minority on that one. But let's
What about the new
see.
characters? I
New
like the tracker guy
characters. Oh yeah, he was cool.
when his backpack ripped open into into like some type of cool.
Like armor type
Yeah,
deal. That
that
was
was cool
neat.
because like at
What the
first
hell? He had a huge backpack. What was in that
it
thing?
was like a body armor. Who knows what
Because
was
all
in
he
the
had was
backpack?
that one rifle
Yeah,
thing.
so that gun, it's like a lever. I don't know if it's a
Lever action,
yeah,
lever
but
action. What do you call
that's
that?
one of the most terrible guns to bring into what he was doing. It
Because you
was
gotta
it was
cock it every
cool when
time.
he connected it and it was in his little backpack and it's very small.
Right.
That's fine when he's like trying to, use it like a sniper kind of.
Hmm.
But he had iron sights the entire time. So some of those shots were ridiculous.
The choice here is like we have to have something original and different
They
for this
wanted him to
character.
have a cool gun.
Yeah.
I felt like when he was because he had some type of like they gave him like a very like fastest hands in the West type vibe, like
Yeah,
like
there were some Wild West kind of vibes. Like they even had like Western music at one
yeah,
point. What
very
was
standoffish. Of course,
yeah, the
the duel
duel.
at the very end, which
Yeah.
I liked the way they ended it. I figured I was like, yeah, he never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I
He's
caught
gonna
that
save
too.
that last round. And I wonder if what they said. Remember when they talked to each other on the stairway? He said 9 or 12. I'll take 9, you take 12, or whatever that meant.
Yeah,
I
I guess that
wonder.
was what it was.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it was, but I wonder if they alluded to something they did in the past.
Maybe.
Like maybe they were on a mission together. Who knows?
I don't know. There's so much happening. I missed a lot of like. And again, sorry, this is not a movie I'm gonna watch again.
You're not
If it's on
really
TV and I'm absolutely
okay.
bored out of my
Okay.
mind,
See,
it's just
that's
you know,
another reason why it's not a masterpiece.
it's not a
Because
masterpiece, man.
some people don't want to watch it again. They're a one and done. John Wick 1, I
If
can
John
watch
Wick,
that
if I'm like
all the time.
scrolling through and here's
And it's
John Wick
on,
1,
put it on.
like if it's on, I'll be like, okay, yeah, let me watch some
Yeah.
John Wick 1. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool, you know. But
But if it says John Wick 4, you're like, nah,
I'm like, okay, I saw it enough.
I don't want. It's too long.
Yeah, I mean, none of the action sequences were cool enough for me to go like, damn, I want to watch that again. You know, that was so neat. You know, but
So in the car, that's another one. When he's driving the Charger, and
yeah,
and the doors are ripped off, which is cool. There's moments in there where even the gun isn't.
you are hung up
No,
on.
dude.
You are stuck on the gun.
So
thing,
here's the thing,
man.
right? So I spotted that in the trailer way before this movie was as hype as it was.
I would like to see how many people were annoyed by that.
I
like you.
spotted that in the trailer, and I was like, "Don't worry, they'll fix it in post.
Don't worry,
Don't worry, though." And then I just saw the movie, and they did not fix it in post.
guys. Come on, guys.
So there's no R.I.P. to Riddick. Um, so
yeah.
it's just like he dies in
It's
real.
sad
He
because
dies
in
in real
his-
life, which is a tragedy.
And the movie really just
and then-
short sold him. You know,
and
It
they
was-
show him first thing in the movie, and you're like, oh, and he's really kind. He says really cool lines, and you're like, are they gonna kill him? You kind of get like
Yeah.
a sense where it's like,
there has to be some price to be paid. Like,
yeah,
and look, they know the audience likes him, so it's like a big like, whoa, you know, it's a, you know, that's what happens in movies. You know, you get a character that people are invested in, and it's like, yeah, now you're gonna feel it when the character gets killed.
yeah,
But at the same time, it was in the first 2 minutes of the
yeah,
movie.
they did it
was
so
really,
early.
yeah, there was nothing. He didn't get nothing.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of the moment when like Luke Skywalker just throws the lightsaber over his
Oh God.
back, and he's like, "Yeah, don't
Oh
care about
God.
it that
Don't
much."
even talk about that.
And you're just like, "What? What are you doing?"
It was a throwaway. It was almost a throwaway like that.
The
It
team
was-
up in Parabellum was great when he finally picked up a gun and he takes off, like, you know what I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, all right, this is pretty sweet. And then they go back together and get the shotguns, and he's like, we need armor piercing rounds.
Right.
And you're like, okay, these guys are real, like, they're probably top notch. And like I said, he gave me like bodyguard, personal protector, but also friend vibe of the guy who ran the Continental.
Yeah.
And they got rid of the Continental, and then they shot him. And then it's like his character alone as the manager, I didn't really like him without him, his friend as
Me
the
too.
host.
Me too. Yeah, they kind of are they're like
Yeah,
a two. They're a twofer. Without one,
yeah, it suffered.
I
It
think
took
Riddick
away
could have
from the
stood alone
movie.
on his own. I think he could have been good on his own. Like if they had killed the Ian McShane character,
Right, right.
whatever his
And
character's
maybe,
name.
yeah, he would
Yeah,
have been the successor. Like
yeah.
he could
That
have,
I would have rather have made that dramatic choice to be like,
right.
let's kill Ian McShane and have
And then at
Riddick
least
live.
they would give John Wick some, like, I need to get some revenge now.
Yeah.
John Wick had no reason besides his own selfish, I want to just kill all these people because I have to. You know what I mean? Like they pounded that home. They were just like, you're living for nothing. You're just a killer. If you can't kill no more, you'll be living, but you'll be dead inside.
Yeah.
They were really pounding that home.
I mean, ever since the first movie, the first movie, his wife gave him the dog, right? Wasn't
Yes,
that what it was? So the
yes.
dog has all of this investment. It's his wife gave it to him.
Mm.
All this. The next movies, he's fighting for himself, which kind of like takes away it's like, what do you
The
even?
emotional
Yeah, like the drive
connection.
and but that's getting into the whole John Wick movie
That's the world, though.
series.
See, that's what I liked with the marker. The one guy, the snotty bad guy, came out in John
Oh
Wick
god, we
2,
got to talk about him.
and he was just, well, hold on. Well, you can't get they're very similar characters, but the one guy had the marker. He had the blood marker, the coin, where that dude, his name was like Santina or something like that. He was part of the high table.
Okay.
Remember, he had his sister killed. You remember all
Yes,
that,
I
right?
remember
You
that
remember all
character.
that.
Yeah, that was the second
So
movie.
yeah, that was the second one,
Hmm.
or what? Yeah, that was the second one, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah. So that built the world where there's like these blood oaths, and like if you help someone and they basically saved your life, you have to do something for them, no matter what it is that they ask. I like
Before
that.
that, it was
It
mysterious.
was
The world that
mysterious,
John Wick came
and
from.
and then John Wick 3, most of it was in the Continental, especially the very
Yeah,
end,
it's true.
and it's like, okay, the adjudicator, the woman with the shaved head who was coming in.
Oh yeah,
Most of it was with the Continental, and there was the whole, death on Continental grounds, and
right.
in this one they blew up the Continental. It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about what is his name, Stellan Skarsgård. You know, I'm talking about the main bad guy.
yes, 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 yes. Let me
Yeah, we
let's
got.
not butcher the guy.
Sorry, we're coming into this
He
not completely prepared.
he plays
He was
Bill.
wasn't
His
he?
first name is Bill.
Bill
Skarsgård. Yeah,
Is it Skarsgård?
Gar. Yes, Gard. Yes.
Yeah, and the guy with the wonky eye.
Yeah.
Although it looks like they fixed it. Like I guess he
He
has control over his eye or
Listen,
something.
they picked him because he was just like this preppy rich person with the crappy attitude, just entitled out the,
I get
wazoo.
it.
And they were just like, he's gonna get killed by John Wick.
I honestly was expecting that they were going to make him in the end be like a badass with
I
some
did
cool
too.
skills.
I did
That was
too.
not paid off. I
I
was really
was
expecting like, oh, you think
so
I'm preppy? It turns
so
out I'm actually I
yeah,
know
yeah.
ninjutsu or
So
something.
you went to the bathroom and they had like this little card game, and it was cool, and they were going over the rules that they were gonna set. And John Wick was the one who wanted pistols, and it makes sense now because he was like, "I'm just not going to shoot, and then I'll save the last, round for this guy."
Right.
So that makes sense now. But
I didn't see like I must have when I was in the bathroom.
yeah, you were in the
Because it's such a
bathroom,
damn long movie.
and
I must have, I really thought it was going to be
so
him and Keanu
yeah,
Reeves
so they
fighting
set
him and
that
John
up.
Wick.
They set that up, and at the very end of the meeting, he goes, "I pay tribute for he goes, I have the right to make John or Donnie Yen
Donnie Yen,
do
yeah.
this for me," and you're
Ugh.
like, "Oh man."
That ruins it.
It
It
did, and
really should have
it did.
been. I really thought it was going to be the way the direction I thought the movie was going. And I think this may have been better. I don't know. I'm just saying. I thought he was going to have to fight Donnie Yen and then kill Donnie Yen,
Yes.
and then have to fight Stellan. Sorry, I keep saying Stellan. That's his other
Bill.
brother,
Bill Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. And it turns out Bill
Is actually pretty good.
is actually like a trained yada yada yada.
Yes.
And it's a good, interesting fight
Yes.
with new
Like
imaginative things.
like maybe he's even better at jujitsu and kicks
Yeah,
Keanu
like
Reeves'
there's got to be
ass.
like, oh,
Yeah, like a real struggle. Like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, like, because they make John Wick basically immortal in this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
They
He's ridiculously
they
Superman.
they did the thing just like Fast and the Furious did, where they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more money, and we gotta have fireworks and crazy neon lights and
It's lost
blood
the thread.
everywhere.
It's like it's not what John Wick the first movie was about. It's a
Yeah,
whole nother animal now.
yes,
It's a
it's
superhero
it's
movie
basically
essentially. Yeah.
it's like a superhero movie where, I mean, let's talk about the fact that he literally jumps out of a third, possibly four
Oh
story
God. And he gets hit by
window,
20
and
cars.
see, he just walks off. In the first movie and possibly the second, remember he had to go to a doctor. He had to take pain pills, and he was like
Not
bleeding.
anymore.
He was bleeding still. What?
He's Wolverine now.
Yeah. So
So
like, there's a moment where like he's still like, I remember in the third one, it opens up right after like he's running from the second one, and he's still bleeding. He's still hurt. He's got to do stitches and all that, and like
right.
he's like eating the pills to kind of get him through it,
Right.
and like that was good. And there's a moment where like the dudes are punching his stitches,
Ooh.
and he starts to bleed again, because you know what I mean, like he's
Yeah,
a
of
wounded
course.
animal.
Yeah.
But like I like the way this one opened, where he's just like punching the board with his
Oh
hand.
my God, you like that?
I
I thought that
thought it
was
was cool.
so
Well,
cheesy.
we were in the Dolby, so
and
it
it was a
super
blast.
loud.
It was like the speakers were about to like they were starting to get like
Explode.
to the limit where it's damaging them. You know,
I thought that was cool.
it was a little too much. I'm sorry, I'm coming at it from it. Like it looked to me like if you took like a 10-year-old, like this is cool. It's gonna be him punching a wooden post.
Bloody
While
hands.
Morpheus is Larry Fishburne is coming through,
Hyping him up. He was the hype man.
the hype man.
Get this man a gun.
And then he lights a fire, a triangle
the fire
around him.
thing
I mean,
was a
come on,
little-
dude. It's a little. I mean, I'm all for having a cool
It
scene.
was cool. They had a trash.
It was.
Can on
It didn't work
fire.
for me.
I
It
liked
didn't work for me.
I like the trash. What was with the super unnecessary fire lighting?
I don't know.
That-
It was because it was cool. They were just really trying hard there.
There's a guy who does like movie sins, and he's gonna like, he does it where he'll do the whole movie and he'll add a sin for everything that was stupid.
A sin.
A sin.
I'm sorry, that was a sin. That was stupid.
They're like totally lit an unnecessary gunpowder fire on the.
Yeah.
Why would you even do that?
It's like I'm all for cool moments,
Yes.
but it just didn't work for me. I didn't buy it. It didn't work for me. Sorry, that's just me.
So, let's talk post credit scene.
Are we not even going to address what happened? Oh,
What?
we're going to talk about the big spoiler is that
Big spoiler.
John Wick dies.
They allude to it.
I put it to you like this: it was good if he's dead.
If he's actually,
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
But if he really dies, then
Man,
what will it
and I
be?
know you're saying they're making a 5, and there's all the talk about it. A 5. It's contract. My God,
contracted for a
man.
fifth.
Look, if they bring him,
They're
I don't know how they're
signed.
going to bring him back because they have not a funeral scene, but they're at his grave site.
Yeah, literally with his headstone.
I'm
it
sorry.
says loving husband,
Which is what he wanted, which was a
Yeah.
nice touch, and that was
next
nice.
to his wife.
They at least brought it back to his wife, and they actually
Yeah.
had a flashback with him and his wife, and that
Yeah.
was like, okay, now we're getting back to what John Wick is about originally.
But you think they're going to do the old "I faked my death" assassin switcheroo?
That's what I mean. That's terrible
You're
if
just
they
like
do that.
that would
It's
be that's now they're getting into lazy writing territory.
not just. It's also greed, absolute pure pathetic greed, like with no artistic.
Do you think John? So, but if John Wick 5, if they make a John Wick 5,
what's
which
he
I'm
gonna
sure
what's he
they
go after
will,
the table? I guess.
do you think they're just going to have it be the daughter?
the daughter? Oh, the daughter.
Because she was a cool character. I liked her. She was only in it for maybe 10 minutes.
She was actually pretty neat.
She was
yeah,
pretty
she was
cool.
cool.
She had
yeah.
a cool outfit. It looked like it was a completely armored bodysuit.
Yeah,
Like,
she was
that
good.
pretty
She was
sweet.
good. She's got talent.
And like even her hair looked like it had like some armor in it, which was pretty cool.
yeah.
And her being with like her weapon of choice being a bow and arrow, it was kind of like, okay, she can just armor pierce these with crazy, but at the same time, it's Donnie Yen.
It's
They're
pretty
gonna have
much-
to bring Donnie Yen versus Osaka's daughter as John
Or
Wick
it's
5,
pretty.
But then you can't even
It seems
call
pretty simple that she kills them. I mean, that's what they allude to, that she kills them.
You think Donnie Yen's just going to get stabbed in the
I
face?
don't
walking
know.
to his daughter.
You can argue any way you want to go, but the end credit scene did not. There was no resurrection
for you?
of no. There's no
Yeah.
resurrection of John Wick. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be really
But
cheesy when they're like
what
John
are they
Wick
gonna call it?
5.
Yeah, they can't call it John Wick 5 and not have John Wick
That's what I
in the
mean.
movie.
It's really lame. And I think it would have been really good. They should have killed him in Parabellum, honestly. 3, keep it at 3,
Yeah.
trilogy, 3 is good. The number 3 and all the stuff with that.
Now there's gonna be 5.
5 is too
I
many.
can almost
4 is too many.
I feel like in a couple days they're gonna announce that 5 is in the works.
I mean, so he faked his death. I mean, he was shot 3 times
Maybe
and one was in the stomach,
maybe here's what they could do, right? So they might be able to allude that John Wick is no longer going to kill anybody, so then like they killed his personality.
What?
You know what I mean? Like they're not like
Now we're speculating.
speculation, but like the legend of John Wick is now buried because he won't kill
He's a
no more.
ghost.
He's just like a mentor, or like
Maybe he's
he
like he's a
trains-
chef now.
Maybe he trains someone else to kill. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Like,
And
I'm gonna
he'll-
pass down my skills
Yeah,
of killing.
I'll train you with the headshots that I know. Of.
Oh my god, with up close gunplay, or whatever you call it.
What was your favorite scene in the whole movie?
All right, favorite scene. Okay. What pops in my head, if I were to give it thought, it might change. But the first thing that pops in my head is when you're first introduced to Donnie Yen's abilities as a assassin, and when
Okay.
he's putting the doorbell sensors.
Okay, yeah.
That was neat. And
I
the fact
thought-
that he was, he has like it's kind of a standard. Like you see a lot of martial arts actors, like they kind of like, oh, they're too cool. Like they'll be eating or drinking
Yeah,
as like
not
in the middle of a
taking it
gunfight.
seriously.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, I'm so cool. So there's that going on with him too. But he actually pulls it off. He actually is like you're rooting for him, So that was cool. That was a cool scene.
I thought those were mines and that they were going to blow up.
Yeah.
I didn't know because
I figured it had something to do with his blindness. I figured that.
I thought it was like, oh, these 3 dudes are just going to explode and be like, oh, this guy's got little mini mines he puts everywhere.
By the way, they're talking about exploding. How about those red band trailers with this movie?
Yeah, well,
I know-
let's stay on topic.
Let's stay on
Yes,
topic.
let's stay on
Sorry,
topic.
I just say
stay
you're going to
on
see some
topic.
really awful previews if you see this movie.
A whole lot of bloody trailers.
Like I had to avert my eyes a couple of times to the
we're not
trailers
going
that
to
came
see
with this.
those movies. Those were
Yeah, there's some
Those are
god awfully violent, gruesome
Russell
movies.
Crowe though.
Russell Crowe. Let's not diss on Russell Crowe right now.
I like Russell Crowe.
I like Russell Crowe, but yeah, I mean,
He's not the gladiator.
I'm no one to judge anyone, physically, letting himself go. But
What is he, like 60 now?
he's got to be well in his 50s. He might be 60. Yeah, he probably is 60.
I mean, he's loaded. He's eating lobster and steak every night for dinner.
Yeah, he's
So John Wick,
yeah.
back to John Wick.
Back to
Circle
John
back
Wick.
to John Wick.
Keanu Reeves staying slim and in trim and
He
in good
was
shape.
slim.
Yeah.
Remember I said he looked thin in this movie?
You think he looks
Do you
thin?
think
He's always been a guy who's like
Yeah.
kind of trim.
But
you know?
he like you can see it in his neck. In the third one, he got a little thicker in the
He
neck.
did?
Yeah, his
He got like beefier in
his
that one?
not beefier, just a little chunkier.
By the way,
But
I
he
like
looked
when
a
his
little thin in this one to me.
You think he looked a little
I think
emaciated?
I think he definitely was like, all right, maybe he saw the third one and was like, yeah, I gotta maybe drop 10 pounds.
Wow.
But maybe he
interesting.
did. I mean, maybe he just got
When you
into
say
shape.
when you say beefy, like overweight or like muscular beefy?
Neither, just maybe. In the first one, he was skinnier, and then the second one, he stays the same. Kind of like let's go back to Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Guardians of
right,
the Galaxy
right,
1, he was definitely thinner. And then like in the
They even
other-
made fun of it,
Yeah, and he's
yeah.
like, it's in the neck. Like
Right,
it's
I
that same thing with the third one. Like because I guess they have
You can see his neck a little
they
bit.
have his tie all the way up, and his like the very last.
There's a little bit of
button.
squishing going on.
There's a little squishing going
right.
on, which we would all
Keanu's
have.
like, oh damn.
But in this one, he's like, let me drop. 10
He's such a
pounds.
big star. That's interesting. Like, would they even say anything to him? Like,
No.
Keanu, hey man, could you just like,
maybe
like another month? Give it a month.
maybe
Just
he
cut
was
back. You
maybe
know?
he did so much like training for the stunts, he just lost the weight naturally. Because
And God, you don't think he trained like a crazy for the other ones? By the way, one interesting little thing is
he did
the hair. Like, in
Very
I was
long.
clicking. I was watching. Like, we were watching a little bit of John Wick 2. Was it John Wick? It was 2, wasn't it?
yeah, that was.
And he had
true.
his hair slicked back. I kind of liked it when it was slicked back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it so much when it's like the big floppy on the
In front of his
sides, in
face.
front of his face. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the slick back look better.
I agree, but of course, what you thinking, like a ponytail?
No, not a ponytail.
Thank
Just it was
God.
like slicked back. Like it's
Yeah.
still maybe not quite as long, but maybe cut his hair. That'd be an interesting look. Be like, whoa, John Wick cut his hair.
They have it to where I think they just have it get longer because they have it to where each movie starts like
Yeah,
hours after the.
it just gets
So if you were
longer
to
and
if you
longer.
were to watch 1 through 4, which it would take you all day, but it's supposed to be like,
Yeah, it would.
I'm sure that would be a cool little experiment. But there's definitely John Wick 1, best one of them all. But
Yes.
and because of the attention to detail, like the scene that really stole the show, and that one's when the cop knocks on his door for the noise
Yeah,
complaint.
and everyone knows who
And
he
he's like,
is.
"Hey, you,
Yeah.
you just sorting some stuff out." And he's like, "All right, good night, Jimmy." And he's like, "Damn, they got the cops in their pocket." Straight saw dead bodies on the floor, and he's like, "Yeah, don't go in John's house." Basically, just
And yeah, the movie is great because it's just like he's like this legend that you're and it's unfolding and all of this
and
but
to be
yeah,
honest, they didn't have. There was no car. There was no Mustang,
that's
and
right. The
so
Mustang was
they
not
they
there.
had to downgrade to the Charger, I guess, to make other people happy.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's just like, at least in the second one and the third one,
He
at
gets his
least he has his
Mustang.
car.
Yeah, it's a
And you're
shame.
like, so in this one there was his dog made an appearance. Remember?
At the end,
No, remember they walked the new pit bull.
yeah, in the very end, they showed
They
him right
have him. Yeah, they showed.
in
Yeah, he's got the
in the
dog.
graveyard,
Yeah, they
right,
got the dog. And
the cemetery.
but for well, he's not even with his dog.
Yeah,
And
I
then he
know.
doesn't have the Continental anymore, and then he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have his Mustang. And those were all three things that made him super
Everything he
interesting.
loves. Look, if he's, they really should have killed him all, and they do,
They
and you'll
do,
see this, and
but
it's a
it's
fitting
not.
ending. But
It's
they're really making a 5.
look, I can't,
I
I
can't
can't.
believe that.
If they make a 5, it's going to be called John Wick
It's
5,
gonna be garbage.
and
That's what they should
that's
call it.
like saying, look, it. My only gripe with this movie is it was so over the top.
So over the top.
It gave me Fast and the Furious vibes, and the reason why Fast and Furious like 1 was so like rememberable is because it was half like
Oh my
you can
god!
buy it, I guess,
Comparing the first one
to
to
the new
forget
one.
about
Yeah,
it.
where
Yeah.
he's it's just tuna shop owner, and they sold stolen goods on the side.
Okay, we're getting off
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, I know, but like just this one where he's jumping out of 4-story buildings, and then
Yeah, he's
when
indestructible now. And yeah,
when he had to fight his way up the
the
steps, and the
stairs.
only thing he was using for cover was like a light pole, I was like, come on, guys,
And look, yeah, there has to be some realism. I mean, just a little bit of realism. Like there
just
is
a
a point.
little.
There is a point where you're gonna roll your eyes and be like, "Come on, man,"
Yeah,
And also, it just always blows me away. Like I'm thinking, like the physical endurance of
yeah.
it's like he's got the endurance of a
That's
marathoner
another
times a
thing. That's
hundred.
another
Yeah,
thing. In the second or it might be the third one too, he's like he limps, he's beaten up, his stitches are
not
bleeding.
this time.
Yeah, he's actually like he gets up slower. Like remember in the third one when those two dudes that are like the karate brothers are really beating him through the glass.
Yeah,
They let him get up and they're like toying with him because like out of respect, and he's like,
do
he's
your
like
Keanu impression.
he's
Do it.
getting up and he's all tired, and you're like, all right, at least he's showing that he's exhausted now.
Yeah, this one they didn't really. You
He
don't see
was
that as much.
he wasn't exhausted ever. He was
He's
just
like the
running through
Terminator
'em.
now. It's just too
Yeah.
much. It's come on, guys. Let's scale it back a little bit.
They joked one time that like, yo, you're getting old. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
that's
would have
the
been
other thing.
it would have been nice if he was like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Oh God.
Like that'd have been cool.
Look up. Like, how old is Keanu? I'm gonna say he's like 56. I'm gonna say 56.
One moment. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Right. So we're gonna talk about Keanu Reeves now, and I in the spoiler free, we talked a little bit about Keanu, and just to reiterate, if you didn't watch the spoiler free video,
He is 58.
58.
Yeah.
Now is this and like that
Ooh.
means and movies take about 3 years like for the next one.
Yeah.
We're a
He's gonna be
60-year-old
a
John Wick. Can
60-year-old John Wick.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. And so let's just end it here where he dies.
We gotta end it. So
Yeah, let's. But I'm just saying we also talked about Keanu really is it's almost like he's messing with the audience. Like, I'm gonna really turn up my Keanu-ism, you know.
Yeah,
He's like really
kind of
drawing it
kind of like a
out.
Ryan Reynolds. Like once he became self-aware that he's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be extra Ryan
It's
Reynolds.
almost like a parody. It's almost like Keanu Reeves is
I'm gonna
parodying
be I'm gonna
himself.
be extra Keanu.
Yeah, it's very
I'm
extra
gonna
Keanu. Like
need a gun.
I think that
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to like rag on because I like
In
Keanu Reeves.
in
He's
the
a great
first one,
actor.
when they have him tied to that chair and they're about to kill him with the plastic bag, and he's like, "I'm thinking I'm back." That sounded way better when he was like mad and enraged,
Yeah.
like because then you're like, "Oh, he's gonna kill some people," but too bad he's tied to this chair, and then he gets out. In this one, he's just like super like, "I'm gonna kill everyone."
And he says it's so slow and
Very
drawn
slow,
out.
very
It's
slow.
just it's come on, Keanu. He's trolling us is what he's doing
Well, that's
now.
partly the writer's problems. That's
But
their
he makes the choice. I mean, he's the one doing
yeah.
the. I mean, I really doubt if he didn't. I mean, he's Keanu Reeves. He's gigantic. So in other words,
He
he's deliberately like the
he's
director.
like,
Even if the director said to
give
him,
me less lines, and then, but
"Yeah,
like I'll just say them like the way I say them.
like the director, you know, maybe even was thinking like, are we like, is he like making fun of himself
Does he
or you
know?
know?" And
I
then
mean,
Keanu is like, if he wants to do that, he's going to do that. He's John
yeah,
Wick. He's Keanu
you can't tell
Reeves.
him no.
He runs the show. He's going to do like no director is going to be able to make him not do what he wants to do. So I don't know. That's
Six out
just
of
me.
ten.
That's me. I'm Mister
Six out
Six
of
out of
10.
10, man.
Eight
Sorry.
out of 10. 8 out of 10.
And you want to watch it again in the
I would
theater
see it one more time in the movie theater. One more time.
one more
It's
time?
so long. I don't think I can do three. I'll definitely watch it on
I
television.
would I would see it again with someone who hasn't seen it,
Yeah,
just for
like
the fun of like
I'll probably do
if
that.
my wife wanted to see it and she doesn't, but if my wife were to go, you know,
Yeah.
that would be interesting to see it through someone else's eyes. That's always fun
How
sharing
much
it.
money do you think this movie's gonna make? Because it seems like everyone was talking about it.
I mean, I guess like at least 100 some million dollars, right? I mean, if it doesn't, that's a failure, right?
Well,
I
it
mean,
cost 100 million, so that's like the number.
they gotta
have
make like
to.
200 or 300 to be even like
So
worthwhile, right? I don't know.
yeah,
I'm not an
I
insider.
think it might make 200 million. 200.
It's
It'll.
March. It's a March film.
Yeah, it's the only thing good out right now.
Well, wait.
It hasn't gotten much
What
like.
else is out right now?
There's no more commercials for things like on television.
Creed
Creed.
3.
That was so a couple weeks ago.
Was that a couple weeks
That
ago?
was a couple weeks ago. And
Yeah,
honestly, they gave that one poor reviews.
they did.
They did.
And rightfully
They
so.
did.
Not to get into
Now
it,
they're
but
giving
yeah.
this one 10 out of 10, which I think is
Well, who is
overinflated.
that? I mean, what about the convention? Like, what is Rotten Tomatoes giving this movie?
I think they gave it like an 88, which is even
That's
high
hard.
for
Like, is
them.
that the audience score or is that the critical
on.
review? Like, I'd like to see
Rotten.
what the New York Times says. I'd like to see what, like, you know, does he even like, you know, it used to be Siskel and Ebert, then it became Ebert and Roper, and of course now it's just
Their
Roper.
critics aren't giving it a 95.
That's
on
crazy. Who are these critics?
95 critics
Who?
on
The critics score on Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Read me one of the. Are you on Rotten Tomatoes website?
I am.
Like who's someone from a big newspaper? Like what do they say? I'll see what their blurb is.
Hold on. So they gave the third one an 89.
Come on,
They gave the second one.
that's the critics score.
They gave the first one an 86.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
So they're saying
Which is probably
it's got to be backwards. I would give this one the 86.
are these the critics score or the audience score?
It's the
What does it
tomatoes
say?
one.
The tomatoes.
It's the tomatoes one.
But you know how they have the
Critics consensus.
critics consensus.
Mhm.
Wow. Can you like do you see any of the critical reviews? Like just they all have like a blurb.
No, none of the actual people who did it.
Huh. Hmm.
But
I don't know.
that's that.
6 out of 10, man. Sorry.
6 out of 10, disappointing. 8 out of 10 for me. I'll see it again. I liked it. It was crazy action packed. That camera top view scene with the
That
shotguns.
was cool. That was cool.
That was intense.
Look,
But
and I'll just say this: if you like John Wick, go and see it. You're gonna like this movie. You're
See-
gonna have a good time.
see, my only takeaway is everyone gave it a 10 out of 10. Almost every review gave it a 10 out of 10, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I'm a little disappointed. You know what I mean?
A little.
Not a little. Just the fact, like the way they took out my man, got rid of the Continental. There was no Mustang. You're like, all those things must be in the John Wick movie.
Do you think they should have killed It's Donnie Yen, yes.
Donnie Yen, yeah.
You think they should have killed him and like
Like you,
actually had like Keanu kill him or
like you
something?
said, I thought they were gonna have.
I thought he was not.
They
Yeah,
really built it up, and I like Bill Skarsgård. It
it
would have
wasn't
been
satisfying when he
if
shoots him in the head. It was
if
just
he
like
would have like
whatever.
if he would have took off one of his crazy like rich suits and been like a total badass and been like a competitor and like okay,
Yeah, it wasn't satisfying when he kills him. It's
it
just like
was just
okay, we you killed him.
yeah,
Great. Who
and
cares?
he did that with the other guy too in the Continental where he's like mid talk and he just shoots him in the head. They did the same thing. The baddest bad guy in the whole movie, just shoot him in the head.
And
That's it.
then the elders they call them when he's in the Middle
Yep.
East.
He just shot him in the head
He
too.
just shoots him in the
He
head.
just bam bam double tapped him.
Yeah,
So yeah, the elders that who
him on
knows?
horseback was a little cheesy.
That's another point
That
where
was cheesy, wasn't
he's
it?
shooting the gun, and the gun doesn't blow back, and there's no bullet
This is
cartridge.
the horseback scene.
This is the very yep, and I'm like, oh my god,
Wow, come on, guys.
They didn't fix it in post.
Guys, come
I'd
on.
have been like, cut, get the actual blank rounds, get the gun so it does the actual everything.
And like, and if it's just him in the scene and there's no one near him,
Yeah.
then he could just do a
Yeah.
blank, then, right?
Yeah,
I
just a
mean,
blank. Actually have see. So when they cut back and the gun is doing what it's supposed to doing, you're like, okay, it did it right there. But then over here, it doesn't do it. So
could it be the camera doesn't catch it because it's so fast?
they alluded to like the gun has such little recoil, but I don't think so. There's moments where the recoil was very fast and
Right.
it looked like it didn't, but you can tell it
You can
did.
still tell,
You can
though.
still tell. But there's blatant moments where it didn't do it, and I gotta deduct points for that.
So you're coming from a like you're a person who an aficionado of guns and stuff like that, or
Just if you make a gun, if you make
it is a gun movie.
it's a gun. If
It's a
you're
gun
gonna,
movie.
If you're gonna make a gun movie, make the guns do gun things. You know.
And yeah, and it's true. John Wick is like one of the. I'm sure there are other movies that have done this, but like I remember John Wick's really stood out to me as like, whoa, this like up close shooting thing. That was
Yeah.
like the John Wick style.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you like from 1 inch away.
And he has to reload all the time. He's picking
Yeah,
up
then
guns.
it's like it's very much appreciating like, wow, Keanu Reeves really did a lot of work.
in the one he's empty, and the other guys in the third one with who was the with Halle Berry,
Halle Berry.
and they're like in the desert fighting through the castle. He almost shoots a guy, and the other guy almost shoots him, but they're both out, and it came down to who can reload faster. That guy could have killed him if he reloaded faster. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, those
So-
are always that's always a fun moment. And that
Yeah.
happens in a lot of movies. That's the kind of
Yeah,
you
like
know,
who
it's a
can
trope. You know,
But in this one, it's like, guys, you guys are gonna say it holds 21 rounds and then shoot 40 rounds and not reload.
didn't it get a little monotonous
It-
too when
it
he has to
got-
fight like 20 guys in a row, and it's like and like 19 of them are just the same old thing you've seen before, and then there'll be one like you mentioned, like the guy with the arrow in his
Yeah,
knee and
that
he
was a
flips
cool
over.
kill.
Yeah, like why don't we condense it to like for every one basic kill, let's have at least one interesting
One
new
crazy kill.
and then we could have shaved off a half hour of the
Been like-
movie, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Because we're waiting. Oh my god!
I thought they were gonna do some cool sword kills,
not
and
so much.
or maybe even a limb or two chopped off.
Yeah,
no
I was
limbs.
expecting that too. Yeah.
I thought maybe when
chop
they,
off some
when
heads,
they,
guys.
with the big brute guy who like just never died the whole movie. I thought they were gonna give a headshot to him. You know what I mean? 'Cause-
Yeah.
And I was
The
just
sword
like,
play was a little underwhelming.
yeah, I was like, here comes a big headshot. The dude's been a sniper the whole, the whole movie. He's a sniper, but then he goes for a
Yeah.
chest shot, and he's got a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah, that was.
And
I
it's
guess I
like,
don't understand.
I
a
would have
lot
went
of
with the
stuff.
headshot and been like, ooh, because that would have made the audience go, oh, whoa, got the headshot.
Yeah, I mean it's a rated R, so let's get some wacky,
Yeah,
wild.
but they're like, dogs bite the nuts.
that happens so many times.
Bite 'em in the
Yeah,
nuts.
that was like 20 times
They
that
they
happened.
played that up a lot. They played that up a
Yeah.
lot.
I don't know.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Wrap
John
it
Wick
up.
4 spoiler review. John Wick has
John
to be
Wick
in
dies.
he dies, but that he has to be in the 5th one.
Which is lame.
So you think they should have just ended it with 4?
I think if I knew for sure that like he's dead, this is it, I'd be like, you know what, it was a nice ending. It was a nice ending. I would maybe even bump it up to a 7.
Okay.
But
if they make a 5,
but
you're gonna
you
be like,
told me they're
lame.
making a 5, then I have to
Contracted.
come
Contract.
knowing that there's a contract for a fifth one, and it's like not like if they had a funeral sequence where you see him in the casket and they're doing an autopsy
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, he's definitely
He's
dead.
legitimately dead.
I would maybe consider a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. You
Yeah,
know,
they kind of were just like, hey, he's in the ground now.
it was a little bit like
They
they
sped it
left some
up.
wiggle room
They
there.
I hate when movies do that too. They just speed up an entire segment of something that should be detailed. You
Yeah,
know, like
instead of half hour wasted on
they could have
meaningless
they
kills.
could have
You
had him
know?
like slowly die in the car with Winston, and then like Winston's like, stay alive. You know, that would have been. But like, he just
I know what you mean. I hear you.
make it
Yeah.
emotional, make it like who knows.
It kind of was though when
Kind
he
of like
dies on the stairs.
you know how like
dies in
Batman
quotes.
in Batman when like Alfred goes and gets him after he got hit with the gas.
Oh yeah,
And he's like,
yeah.
and like he's like, stay with me in the car, and you're actually worried for Batman for a second. Then he wakes
We
up.
gotta do some reviews, like some
Yeah,
different movies.
we'll definitely
yeah.
throw some old ones in there.
We're gonna throw some old
Well,
movies.
we can maybe even do it in real time. Watch it, pause it, set something up with like some type of
Interesting.
projector or something.
We got
Have
to
it
get the
come through the
rights.
headphones.
You gotta get the rights
Oh,
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if they're
Yeah.
gonna allow that.
Well,
Warner
we
Brothers.
might not be able to. We might just not show it. We'll be
Yeah.
able to hear it.
When
and
we got
then-
like 10 million subscribers, then we'll
gonna take
get
a
the
long
rights.
time.
We'll get the okay from Warner
Right,
Brothers or
right.
whoever.
All right, guys. John Wick 4 spoiler talk. They're going to make a fifth one. It's going to make too much money. But,
Go and see it. You'll have fun. It's cool. It's fine.
but
6 out of 10.
I say watch the first 3 first.
Yeah, if
Watch
you
the-
yeah,
Don't just jump. You could just jump into this, and I never saw John Wick 1, 2, or 3. Let's go see 4. Fine, you'll still have a great time. But if you really are a fan and you saw 1, 2, 3, this one is not the best one,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Go watch the first John Wick.
John Wick 1 was
Go watch
is
the first
is
John
the
Wick.
best
That's
one. John
my
Wick
saying
1.
here. Yeah, but
All right,
it's a fun
guys.
movie.
We're wrapping it up, and hold on, I gotta turn this camera off.